Hey everyone, my name is David. I currently live in Dallas, Texas. This is a highly requested video from my coworkers at work. Um, I recently went through the hiring process to become a flight attendant for a major US airline. I will not disclose which airline it is. It's probably just to keep it secret, based on every other video that you see out there. No one really says who they work for. They may slip up and say it, or you may see their lanyard that they're wearing that has the name of the company, but I will choose to not disclose what company it is. I currently already work for um, the company that I became a flight attendant or am about to become a flight attendant with. I work in their reservation center. I just took 3 weeks vacation. It's use it or lose it. So I decided to take the last 3 weeks off. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the hiring experience, from the assessment to the, um, what is it called? The interview on the web, the virtual interview, and then the face to face. But let's start with the assessment. So I applied as an internal transfer. So since I'm already an employee, it didn't change the process. I'm still going through the process like everyone else. Uh, so the assessment is rather interesting because it's a what would you do in this situation kind of assessment. Um, a lot of the questions were based on situational situations, if that makes sense. Um, so, what would you do in this situation? They give you options to choose from, along with agree, strongly disagree, or neutral. I believe because I did this in October last year, 2023. I don't exactly remember how the whole assessment went, but it was roughly around, it took me roughly 45 to 50 minutes to complete the whole assessment. Um, Challenging, not really. Tedious, yes, for sure. But they had a few questions in there regarding what would you do in this situation if you were on an aircraft like you were already a flight attendant. I'm not sure. I've never been a flight attendant, but I gave it my best shot, and here I am. So you fill out a few simple questions or whatnot, answer a few simple questions that the airline has for you to determine if you're a good candidate to get the assessment. I got the assessment within 5 minutes of filling out the application. And then once I did that, maybe, maybe 2, 3 ish weeks to hear something back from my airline. Almost said it. Uh, but after I took that assessment, took about 3 weeks to hear back from the airline. Was invited to a virtual interview. That was rather for me. That was easy. You just have to be yourself, or at least your best self. Um, Schedule that for 9 a.m. I believe, 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm Central Time, so I'm in Texas. But it took about an hour to do the whole interview from beginning to end. Uh, they ask you, and you have to make sure that you listen to everything that they are asking you. So if they tell you just state your name, where you're from, and an interesting fact about yourself, or something that you one item that you have to take with you on a trip, that's it. Don't add anything. Don't forget to give them the answer that they want, because they want to see that you are able to listen to direction. So just make sure that you give them everything that they are asking for, nothing less, nothing more. You could add a little bit of character or a little bit of personality, but don't overdo it. So, my instance, they asked for my name, where I reside, and one item that I am usually traveling with. So I told them, hi, my name is David, last name. And then I told them I currently reside in Dallas, Texas. And then the one item, which is true, that I usually take with me on a trip are bowling balls because I am semi-professional bowler. So again, hi everyone, my name is David Flores. My city that I reside in is Dallas, Texas, and one item that you would find on a plane with me on almost every trip that I take is going to be bowling balls because I'm semi-professional bowler. Period. That's it. Um, Clean, cut, precise, nothing spectacular, giving them what they want, but also trying to give them a little bit of personality. You don't want to be cut and dry. No one wants. My name is David. I reside in Texas, and I bring bowling balls. That's not what I want to see. I want to see a little bit of personality, just a little bit. Don't do too much. They want to see that, of course, you listen to direction, and you can take yourself serious, so that way you could do the job. Um, there was about 20-ish people in my interview after everyone was able to connect and get on time to the interview. There were a handful, maybe three or four, that weren't able to join because of connection issues, or their volume wasn't working, or their mic wasn't working, so we couldn't hear. So they had to reschedule, unfortunately. Hopefully they were able to get rescheduled and do a successful interview. Um, but once that was done, it took maybe 3 days, for me at least. 3 days for me to get a face-to-face interview. That was what I was most worried about, uh, is the face-to-face. Um, because I did a face-to-face, I did the whole process last year in 2022. In January, I did everything. I did the assessment, I did the virtual interview, I did the face-to-face, and I didn't get a CJO, a conditional job offer. Unfortunately, I was devastated. Um, but you know what the saying is, things happen for a reason. I wholeheartedly believe in that. Uh, I think everything happens for a reason. If it's not your time, it's not your time. Um, no doesn't mean never. No just means not right now, for a reason. So I took that no with a grain of salt. I powered forward. I went to work. I worked hard. I made it into a new department at my company. I work in group sales. I am a lead, also known as a resolution agent. So, supervisor on duty calls. If my if my coworkers have issues with the protocol, or they have a question, or whatever the case may be, that's who I am. I'm the person to try to fix their issue, help them with whatever they're having concerns with, or if a passenger is upset with a protocol or with their reservation and they want to talk to a supervisor on duty, that would be me. I pride myself on amazing customer service. Um, and I pride myself on being on time and giving it my all. And as a customer service person or agent, you're not there to argue with the passenger or whatnot. I'm going off on a tangent, but I just pride myself on customer service. And I let them know that in my virtual and in my face to face. But in regards to the face to face, I don't want to say it's a whole day ordeal. Mine took 5 hours from beginning to end. But please remember that in the face to face, when you get to the airport, if you're flying in from a different state to do your face to face, you have to remember, please remember, if you're doing a face to face and you have to fly in, the moment that you get to the airport, people are watching you. People from the airline are watching you. They see how you act. They see how you interact with The airline crew see how you act with the passengers. They see how you conduct yourself on the plane, on airport grounds, from beginning to end. So don't think because you go in the bathroom, no one's watching you. They're watching you go to the bathroom. They're watching you go to the snack machine. They're watching you walk through the terminal. They're watching you on the plane. They're watching you. So never think you're alone. Of course, in the bathroom, no one's watching you because that's illegal. But, anyways, they are watching you every step of the way when you're on your way to your interview. So, uh, when you get onto campus or the interview grounds, watching you, make sure you're smiling. Make sure you're smiling. Make sure you're pleasant. Don't overdo it. Um, but again, don't be cut and dry. Um, Make sure you have your documents, your passport. They do not play around, guys. When they tell you to bring your passport, when they tell you to bring your driver's license, when they tell you to bring a resume, if you don't have a resume, get one done. It could be one thing on there for a job. It doesn't matter. You have to have all of the things that they require of you at your face-to-face, or they will send you home. Uh, I make sure to be pleasant. I smile. I interact with the people that I'm around, waiting to be interviewed. Um, but the moment you step foot on that campus, smile, great mood, pleasant. Um, my experience, since I already work for the company, I know where everything is. So I get out of my car, smiling, great mood, um, walk into the building, to security where they ask you for your passport, hand that to them, smiling. After that, they guided me to a little area to sit down and wait for them to call me. There was another girl with me. I made sure to introduce myself to her, let her know it was great to meet her, asked her if she was nervous like I was. Just kind of get a bond because they want to see as a recruiter that you're able to speak to anybody without any issues, because that's what you're doing on a daily basis when you're going to work as a flight attendant. They want to know that you're able to strike up a conversation with a stranger, because you're not always going to work with the same people on every flight. So they want to make sure that you're able to conversate, have good chemistry. Even if you don't like that person you're working with, they have to know that you can be cordial and you can work as a team. So just make sure to be pleasant, um, chit chat, smile, laugh. Um, but again, I walked through the doors, gave them everything they needed. I waited for them to call me. They finally called me. And when they called me, I went into another little office with two recruiters. One of them asked me for my resume. I handed that to her, asked her if she wanted another one for both of them. And she said no, that was fine. And then the other recruiter on my left, he asked me for my passport. He looked at my picture, he made sure that it was valid. Um, and then he handed it back to me. And then he said, "Can you please give me, as it states on your passport, the expiration date?" So I gave it to him clearly as it was stated on the passport. And he said, "Thank you so much." I said, "Of course, not a problem. I appreciate you." They walked me out. I said, "Thank you so much for your time." And then we walked to the interview space. So once we got to the interview space, they briefed you a little bit about what's going to go on in the space. They had us since it was just two of us, we stood there. He explained to us that once you walk in, you're gonna look at your badge with your name on it. There's a number on the top left side of the badge, I believe. That's the table that you're gonna sit at with everyone else, waiting for you to come in. And then once you get to your table, he also explained there is a sheet of paper with your name on it. Sit at that spot, fill out that form of that sheet of paper. And then once you're done, put your pen back, walk up to the table next to the door that we walked in through, put your paper back and walk back to your seat. So on that paper, it gave you a situation, asking what you would do in this situation, ranking it most likely to do to least likely to do. And then on the very bottom of the sheet, it asked you why you chose your number one answer. I'm not going to go too much into what the question was or why I selected it. Um, just know, think about, as if you were the customer or the passenger, what would you want the airline representative to do for you? So think of it that way. Um, don't overthink it. If you overthink it, then you're just going to stress yourself out. But once you do that, you wait for everyone, converse and chat with everyone at your table. Try to get to know them a little bit. Uh, I mean, again, they're watching every move that you make when you're in that room. For sure, smile, talk when it's time to be quiet. Shh, be quiet, don't talk. Listen, acknowledge when they're speaking. Um, Whenever people are speaking, for me at least, I acknowledge and shake my head and smile and let them know that I'm listening. Uh, but after that, they introduce themselves. Uh, all the recruiters introduce themselves. Let us all know how long they've been with the airline that I was applying for, um, and then how long that they've been a flight attendant. Uh, So after every recruiter did that, they had all of us do it. So when it got to my time, I said, "Hi, my name is David Flores. I currently reside here. I currently work for the company in reservations, and it's wonderful to meet all of you." Sit back down. They want to make sure that you could speak in front of a large group of people without an issue. Um, Make sure to speak loudly. Make sure to speak clearly and concise. Don't be shy and timid. "Hi, my name is David. I currently live in Dallas, Texas." No, they want to hear, "Hi, everyone. My name is David Flores. I currently live in Dallas, Texas, and I currently work for the company in reservations." Just something like that. Again, don't overdo it, but don't be shy and coy either. Again, they want to see that you could speak in front of large groups if you have to. So after that, we played a little game, and I won't go into too much detail about the game. Just make sure that you listen to the instructions. They want to make sure that you could follow directions. Uh, Also, when you get up in front of everyone in the group, make sure that you speak loudly and with confidence and with a clear voice. After we did the group activity, we sat down and then we took a little break. Um, Again, during the break, make sure that you smile, make sure that you're talking with everyone that you can. Um, just enjoy your experience. Uh, After the break, we go back into the room and then we do uh, a question with a recruiter. So at mine there was four tables of people applying for the position. My table only had like six or seven people at it, and there were four tables. So out of the four or five recruiters, every table had a recruiter interviewing people. So at my specific table, he put down cards. They all had a number on it. He told everyone to pick one, but don't turn it over. So he gave us the instructions on what to do, and then when it got to yours, you flip it over. You tell him what card number you have. You read the question out loud. You could take a second to think about your answer, but as soon as you read the question, just give yourself a second to register the question and come up with an answer. Just don't blurt something out. Um, Answer the question to the best of your ability. They're not looking to try to trick you, or you're not gonna give a wrong answer. Just give them the honest truth. Make sure you make eye contact with the recruiter. It's very important. They don't want you answering the question like this or that or fiddling with things. If you're gonna fiddle with anything, make sure you put your hands under the table. You can maybe do this or this, this. just make sure they don't see it. I think that's just showing them a sign of being nervous, which it's fine. It's okay to be nervous, but you want to show them how confident you are, um, and whatnot. So I answered my question. It's funny because I thought I bombed the interview at this point because she asked me my question. Well, he asked me my question, and I didn't want to give away too much because I gave an experience of working in the reservation center, so I didn't want to harp too much on already working for the company. But he was like, David, I need more information. So I explained a little more, and he's like, I understand you're not trying to give away too much info, but I just need a little bit more. What happened in that situation? How did it end up? So I gave a little bit more detail, and he's like, thank you so much. I appreciate your honesty and your question and your answer. So I looked at everyone at my table, and I'm like, no, I just wasn't feeling it. I instantly got in a kind of a bad mood because I felt I really bombed it. But after that, guess what? We got another question, but this time it was with another recruiter. So it was a new opportunity to seize the moment and redeem myself. So, same thing. You pick a card, you wait until your turn is called, and then once they call you, once they get to you, again, you turn the card over, let them know what card number you have, read the question out loud so they can hear you, and then just give yourself a minute to register the question with your brain and to come up with an answer. This time, my question was a little easier, but he's like, "Thank you so much, I appreciate it," and I felt a lot better after that one. But after everyone finished, we got to use the bathroom if we needed to or take a slight break. We just had to be quiet if we were going to stay in our seats. So that way everyone else could finish their interview or at least their questions. But once I once we got back from that next break, that's the time where they were deliberating and seeing who was going to stay and who was going to get cut. Um, this is the time, I don't want to say to get nervous, but to get nervous because this is going to make or break you. So in this instance, they called, one recruiter came out from the hallway with a stack of applicants that did not make it. So they called the number before me and they called a couple numbers after mine. I thought I was going to get cut after that first question. Thankfully, I did not. And then a manager came in and started talking and introduced himself and went over, a couple slides. They went over how many people apply for this position, this, that, and the other. I was like, 90,000. And they came up with the answer, and it was 90,000. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Too bad I did this in January, so I already knew that answer. But the people at my table were like, wow, how did you know that? I just guessed a lot of people. So he went over how many people apply for the position, uh, went over briefly the benefits, the pay, what bases we offer as an airline. I think there's 8. There's Chicago, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Miami, Dallas, Boston, LA, and Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I get Dallas. If not, Miami, here I come. I'm originally from Orlando, so born in Chicago, but raised in Orlando. So Miami's not too far from home, my second home. But hopefully I get Dallas. But if not, oh well, it's fine. I'll live. But he went over the scheduling a little bit. He didn't go too much into detail about that because there's no point in going over scheduling and how that works if you don't get through this next portion of the interview. But while he was talking, another recruiter came in with another little stack of people, and I was like, oh no. I dodged a bullet the first time. Second time is not always the charm. So they called another 5, 6, 7 people. I passed. I was not called, thank God. So he kept talking about more things about the company and um, this, that, and the other, and answered any questions people had. And during the Q&A, another recruiter came in with a smaller stack of people, and I was like, this is it. I'm getting the axe. I missed the axe, thank God. Dodging bullets, yo. But I made it through. I didn't get cut this time. Um, After everyone was done asking questions and got their answers, they brought the remaining people that got to stay down a hallway. Um, and then we stood in a line in front of a door. And inside that door, you did your reach test. So you had to reach for the fire hydrant to make sure that you're tall enough. And then after that, you go into the jump seat to see if you could fit in it comfortably. I passed both of those, thankfully. Um, so grateful for that. But after that, we went back to the room that we did the interview in, and I was the very, 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 very last person to leave. I actually had to work at 6 o'clock for 1 hour. Um, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be at work in 35 minutes. They're like, oh no, let's try to speed this up. Some other details that we went into, but I messaged my manager, and I was like, hey, is there any way that you can get me VTO, which is voluntary time off at my job, um, the last hour, please? And she's like, yeah, not a problem. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good luck. And I was so grateful for that. I'm still very grateful for that. Um, but since I was the very last one, I did my drug screen. I'm sorry, I didn't do my drug screen. That's a lie. I did my background check. Um, so I did my fingerprinting and all that greatness. And then I did one last interview with the manager. And the manager's like, why do you want to work for blank company? And I was like, to be honest with you, already working here has been a great honor and a great privilege. I love working here. I love my position in the reservation office, and I love that customer service, but it's time. I've always wanted to be a flight attendant, working with all these people, and I want to be in the loop. I want to actually, instead of just being on the phone giving great customer service, I want it to be in person this time. I love that interaction in person, seeing the smiles on people's faces, um, seeing angry customers or passengers, to me, is an opportunity. It's always an opportunity to turn the situation around and make it a positive one, and getting that smile on their face, and you knowing that they're smiling because of you. And to me, that's the most important, is making sure that the passengers get on that plane or get off that plane with a smile on their face. And he's like, that was a great answer. I was like, that's the honest truth. It's not just a whatever answer. That's what I truly believe. And I pride myself again on great customer service. And he's like, great, I have another question. What's your biggest concern about the position? I said, besides bases, because they're never guaranteed, I said the pay. It is a pay cut um, from what I'm currently making, but my company is currently in works for getting a new contract, but not to get into too much detail with that. He's like, DFW has been offering um, itself up for base selection, so you shouldn't be too worried about that. And that's great. And he said, do you have any questions for me? I asked him, how long before I would know if I get the job? And he's like, maybe a week or two. And I was like, okay, well, I greatly appreciate your time. And he's like, not a problem. I just have one more thing for you. And I was like, yes, sir. And he says, congratulations, you're hired. That was like the best day of my life. I got a CJO, I got my conditional job offer. So excited. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Lights, camera action, balloons, confetti. I almost cried. To this day, it's still not real because I'm not in training yet. I go to training on the 28th of this month and it's February. So I have a week and 2 days still before I start 6 weeks of training. I'm very thrilled, very excited. This new chapter in my life with the company that I love working for is a wonderful privilege. I can't wait to start training and meet all these people that went through the same process as me. Um, but from start to finish, I applied in October 2023 and it's now February. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of the process. My process for getting hired from start to finish is a lot shorter than other people. There's people that said, I applied in April last year, 2023, and I'm just now getting a training date and this and the other. And I'm like, wow, that's a long time. I don't know how they did it. Of course, patience is a virtue, and I don't have patience. But I just stayed calm, told myself I could do this, and I got a CJO. So hopefully that's a little bit of insight. I didn't want to go too much into detail. I don't know what's allowed and what's not allowed to be shared. And I don't want to jeopardize my opportunity to become a flight attendant. So hopefully this is just 2 seconds of insight if you're applying for flight attendant or whatnot. My company's not hiring for flight attendants at the moment, at least. Um, it still is very early in the year, so I'm assuming they're still going to be hiring a lot more in the near future. But just keep your eyes out, open and out for new flight attendant positions on the website. Um, but yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share, and please subscribe. I know I don't have a lot of videos out, and the ones that I do have out are kind of boring and whatnot, but hopefully I get to start doing more videos of flight attendant things in the near future. Maybe a packing video. See how I'm going to do that. But anyways, this is going to be the end of my video for now. But again, I'll see y'all later. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, please subscribe to my channel for more videos in the near future. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.